And welcome to our daily show where we talk about personal and financial development. Today, we're talking about how to retire early. We hear a lot of people when we talk to them about their finances, and they're like, I want to retire early. So, we're going to talk about it. What does it take to actually retire early? What does it mean? And how can you actually do it? Welcome to our daily
There you go.
If you don't already know who we are, we're Martin and Chelsea Matthews. We're married, we're in business. We are founders of M Wealth Group, a financial consulting and investment agency. And we're authors of this book, Let's Fight About Money, helping couples communicate about money, handle conflict, and build an unbreakable financial house. And that's our mission, to help you build an unbreakable financial house so you can handle anything that comes your way, create the life that you truly want. And today, we're talking about how to retire early. So as you come in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions, if this is something that's on your mind, if you're retired early, let us know. If you want to retire early, let us know. Please like, comment, and share this out so we can help more people retire early and live the life of their dreams.
Gee, don't talk like that, man. You sound like
You don't like that?
no, you sound like a man. What's
Well,
up,
maybe I
John
am.
from DC? No, I would know if you're a man or not. I would have known from our second date. Just kidding.
Oh my God.
Hello, everybody. So let's get into it.
Inappropriate and liar.
This is not a children's show. Hide your wife, hide your
Don't
kids.
lie.
Actually, don't hide your wife. Let your wife come and learn from this, some of the different things we're talking about. So, how to retire early. First of all, you want to hit them with the first point.
Yeah, the number one point when talking about how to retire early is to remember and to know that retirement is about cash flow. It's not about an age. A lot of people think, oh, at a certain age, because, with Social Security and the agreement about what age is a retirement age, we all kind of like have that in our mind. But really, what is the purpose of retirement is that you have enough money to cash flow to pay your expenses when you're no longer working. So you got to remember, it is about cash flow. What kind of cash flow do you need?
Yeah.
Right?
So you got to break it down. Like when I came to America, I grew up in Liberia, West Africa. I tell people that because so they can have some context about where I come from, why I look at things a certain way, especially when I came to this country. But in Africa or in Liberia and a lot of in West Africa, the elderly are very productive. There is not this agreement that the elderly people are sitting on their porch and they're just lounging. So John's in Ghana. What's up, John? So look, it's a way the elderly people will take care of their grandkids. They will, meaning they will watch the grandkids. They will do things. They will do things actively. They will have a garden. Some of them will go sell stuff in the markets. All kinds of different things. Very active. They don't just sit. They're not going to sit on a porch or something. But somehow, when I came to America, I realized that what happens here in America is that a lot of people, their aspirations is to retire and sit on a porch or to swing in a swing set and lounge and all that kind of stuff. That's what you're being sold. You're being sold that you're not supposed to be productive in later years. Look, your body's not dead, so you can be productive at any time. So if you're trying to retire early, I always ask people why. And usually when they want to retire early, what they're really saying is, I want to have enough cash flow so that I can have freedom to do the things I want to do, not because I just want to lie around all day on my couch. So the reality is you're not planning for a particular age. You got to say, okay, well, my real goal is cash flow. How do I plan for cash flow? So if you start planning for retirement at age 65 or age 70, but your real goal is cash flow, you're already starting off with the wrong target. You're planning for the wrong thing. So keep focused on, okay, what does the cash flow need to be then? Then you need to have a cash flow target, not an age. So people say, I want to retire by the time I'm 40 or 65 or 70 or 30, whatever age they say. The reality is you can't retire if you don't have cash flow. How are you going to live? And so that's just the reality. Is it costs a certain amount unless you're going to live in a box on a corner, and maybe that's the. But I don't think that's the lifestyle that you aspire to. So if your lifestyle is to do something meaningful, to enjoy life and everything, you've got to make a determination of what that cash flow ought to be.
It's interesting because kind of the agreed upon retirement age is 65 because that's when people can start drawing on Social Security. And before, when that started, people's life expectancy was a lot less. It was like only a few years, after 65. And so it was when people were like too old to work, they weren't able to work. And so then they kind of like lived out their last few years. Now people are living so much longer, but yet want to retire so much earlier. And so when you're thinking about cash flow, you need cash flow to last your entire life. And really that's what it is people want to be able to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, with who they want to do it, right? And so you got to have the cash flow to be able to do that. So, and along those lines, number two, when thinking about and planning about and understanding what it really takes to be able to retire early, is that instead of resorting to rice and beans, you got to increase income. So instead of focusing on how can I stop working, how can I stop having to produce income, you got to think about how can I work more? How can I increase my income? How can I bring more in so that I can create the cash flow that I need to not have to just resort to eating rice and beans in a van down by the river, right? Like, what kind of lifestyle do you want to have? What kind of things do you want to do? What kind of experiences do you want to have? Who do you want to help? What impact do you want to make? And then how much is that going to have to cost? And then you got to go do the work to create that cash flow to have the kind of retirement lifestyle that you want.
Yeah, and drop in the comment, what do you want your retirement to look like? When you think about retirement or you think about financial freedom, what does that look like for you? What does that mean? What is that? And that's an exercise you can do. You can put it in the comments or do that exercise yourself. Where do you want to live? What kind of home do you want to live in? What kind of lifestyle? How do you want to travel? What do you want to do? Do you want to travel Spirit Airlines? Or do you want to travel first class on Delta?
Unless you do want to live in a van down by the river.
And then that might be your thing. You may want to live in a van by the river, and maybe it's a nice van, whatever. But ultimately, Johnny, would you mind turning the air down? Yes. Thanks.
You don't want to have to resort to something because you don't have the cash flow. You want to be in control. You want to make those decisions of what you want your life to look like.
Yeah. And there are some financial people who their whole apparent mission in life is to tell you have to shrink your dreams just to survive and make it.
Man, F that.
Yeah, so I'm not about shrinking my dreams. I'm about expanding my means. Don't shrink your dreams, expand your means. What I mean by that is, so somebody says cash flows in the US and Ghana. That's what his retirement looks like. You want to have cash flow in different places. Think about that. What do you want your cash flow to look like and be like? Now, when we talk about the rice and beans, that's like people are like, don't enjoy yourself. Don't live life. You got to make all these sacrifices. You got to eat rice and beans if you want to retire early and all that.
Although don't miss those rice and beans because that helps the booty grow.
Yes. So, but you got, yeah. You don't want that booty shrinking. So
don't shrink your dreams or your booties.
Don't shrink your dreams or your booty.
Or your butt.
Expand your means and expand that booty. So look, you don't have to resort to rice and beans. You don't have to live life as a miser where you can enjoy yourself. You gotta count everything. And in order to do that, you need to have a viewpoint of there's a lot of prosperity on this planet, and some of it can be yours if you get into exchange with other people. And some of it can be yours. And the money's already produced, right? The money's already made. You don't have to go create the money. You do have to produce. And so I look at work as a gift. Work is something to do, but is a means for me to be productive and happy. That's how I look at work. I do not want to stop working. Now, if you look at some of the richest people in the world, these people who continue to maintain and expand, they still work. Look at Elon Musk. So some people, there's a lot of false data in society that tries to get you to be lazy. And some of them is like, you need to work smart, not hard. What the hell does that mean? Can you not work hard and be efficient? Like, look at Elon Musk. That guy sleeps in the factory of Tesla. You realize that Elon Musk does not have to work anymore. His children does not have to work anymore, ever. But he is instilling certain values of being productive. Warren Buffett's in his 80s. Realize Warren Buffett could be lying on the beach somewhere on some island, yet he is working. Even the guys from Shark Tank, Mark Cuban is not actively building a lot of his own businesses anymore. He's now become into the role of like an investor and like a counselor kind of thing. But he is still being productive, not as much as some of the other guys. Aliko Dangote, richest black man in the world. He's Nigerian. He has cement factories, sugar, lots of different things. Aliko Dangote, owner of the Dangote Group, right? Richest black man on the planet. Good morning, Philip. What's up, brother? And so what is he doing? Being productive. He's working. All these people who you see at the top of the food chain economically, they're not trying to retire early, even though they have the resources to. Now, I'm not saying if that's your goal, you shouldn't aspire to it. But what I'm saying is production, being able to produce something, being valuable to society, going out and making things happen is an extremely worthy quality, and it should not be demeaned. Work is good. Work, being efficient with your work and producing stuff is extremely good. So, and when you focus on increasing your income, a lot of people get to a certain income and they plateau. One of our biggest things we're always looking at doing is how do we increase our income? How do we increase the revenues of the business? That's the number one question Chelsea and I continually ask. How do we increase the revenues of our business, of our activities, so that we can attract and hire more people and expand our company and flourish and prosper and help everybody flourish and prosper? What's up, Joanna? The great one, what's going on? So look, guys, you don't have to shrink your dreams and live on rice and beans. I should put down a t-shirt. Okay. You ain't gotta shrink your dreams and live on rice and beans. You gotta constantly, and let me tell you, if everybody was asking themselves that question, how can I continue to increase my income? And by the way, I think it's also another piece of false data that everybody needs to be a business owner. Not everybody needs to be a business owner. Yeah, if you have a home-based business, there's some tax advantages you can get and all that kind of stuff. But most people who call themselves business owners are just technically self-employed. You just created a job for yourself. When you get into business, there's lots of different things, especially when you become an employer. So now you become a job creator. You employ people and they're on your payroll, which means you're responsible to making sure that your business creates enough success so that the business continues to last. Not everybody wants to do that or needs to do that, because sometimes you don't do well on your own. Sometimes it's good to be as part of a group, and together you guys can all win. So you can succeed even if you have a job. You can still increase your income on your job.
And I can tell you, most of the business owners who hate on 9 to 5 or hate on being an employee or hate on having a job, they don't have any employees. They're self-employed. They're working a job themselves. Might be for themselves, but if you are a business owner and you have employees or you have a team, you don't hate on that.
You would never bash people who are employees of your company.
Everyone in a company builds together, and employees can become very successful as well. If you're in the right company with the right opportunities and you exchange well, then you can be very successful. You don't always have to own a business in order to reach the success levels that you want to. And
I know a lot of people who work 9 to 5 and make a lot more money than business owners. Mm-hmm. By the way, lots of people who work 9 to 5.
And they don't have to take on the risk of owning the company, of hiring the people, of paying the people,
and doing all the different things that you have to do. So understand, you can still increase your income even if you work in a company, because you can look at opportunities to grow. How can you contribute more? And then even ask. You can even look at that and say, how can I take on more responsibility if I want to grow and expand here? What's a pathway for me? And then they may be able to put you on a pathway to help you do that.
Yeah. So be thinking about, if you're looking at retiring early, what does that actually mean to you? Is it that you want to be able to get into other projects? Maybe you want to have more time with family and friends. Maybe you want to make an impact in the world. So you got to think about, what does that look like for you, and what is it going to cost? How much cash flow am I going to need? And also, like, make sure you have a plan. It's not just so that I can take a load off and retire and not do anything, because usually if you look around, people who do that, they don't last long. They don't live long, because if you're not growing and expanding, you're dying, and you will if you don't have any purpose. So you got to look at, what do you want your retirement to be? How much cash flow do you need? And then what's your plan for getting it? What?
I was just thinking that with Social Security, the reason why they had it at a certain age is your life expectancy wasn't much long after.
Yeah.
So by the time you stop working, they wanted you to not be productive and just collect these checks, because very soon after that you died. And so the government didn't have to continue paying you. What happened is people started living longer and longer because people were trying to be more productive.
That Ponzi scheme is collapsing. Let me tell you what.
And so Social Security cannot sustain. It literally mathematically cannot sustain. And the thing is, the politicians don't want to tell you that, because no politician want to tell you and get you all pissed off at them that Social Security mathematically cannot sustain.
So you better be able to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do to help our clients in our business is we help them to not only come up with a financial plan and roadmap of exactly how to reach your financial goals, but also, in one of those things in building wealth and having to do with retirement, is we help review people's retirement accounts. If you already have a retirement account, maybe like at a previous employer, or maybe you have an individual retirement account, could be an IRA, 401k, 403b, Roth IRA, TSP, did I leave any out? Any retirement accounts.
457, whatever it is, that's a retirement account.
Yeah. And if you have, usually we can review it and let you know like where you're at, if you're on track, and what some options are to make sure that money lasts as long as you do. When we talk about retirement, making sure that cash flow lasts, is we would be happy to do a review with you for your account. We usually have a requirement of $100,000 at least in the account. But if you have $50,000 or more in your account, then we're opening that up to a little bit more people to be able to help you get on the right track with your retirement. So if you'd like some help reviewing your retirement account, you can go to sixbuildingblocks.com/retirement, sixbuildingblocks.com/retirement. And if you have any questions and you want to reach out, you can feel free to DM us as well. So sixbuildingblocks.com/retirement. And we'll be happy to help you map out a plan and review what you have in place and what you need to do to reach your goals.
Yeah. And you know, the reason why there's a minimum is because a lot of times if somebody has $5,000 in a retirement account, look, there's not a whole lot for you to be reviewing on there. You're still building. You're kind of either getting started, or you started late and you're trying to figure some of that stuff out. When you have more there, then you have to be more strategic about it. So if somebody has $800,000 in their retirement account, you know, $1 million, 1.2 million, that person has to be way more strategic than somebody who has 10, 15 grand in there. So there's more things that you have to do. There's some things that you can plan for and strategize. So you can go in there and then request a free retirement review. If you have at least a minimum of $50,000 in a retirement account, we'll go over it with you, help you understand your risk tolerance, and then help you understand what's some things you can do to protect and grow your account regardless of what's happening in the economy. There's ways to make money and grow your wealth no matter what's happening in the economy, that you can be immune to some of these threats and still continue to expand and create a plan for cash flow so that you get cash flow off that.
Yeah, and if you don't quite have the $50,000 in your retirement account, you can still send us a DM, because we have tons of other resources that can help you to get, you know, to where you need to go. So reach out and we can direct you to get the resources that you need.
All right. And so we'll be back Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. If there's any financial topics, financial personal development topics you guys want to hear about or want our perspective on, send us a DM and say, hey, I'd like you guys to talk about this sometime. This would be great to know, things like that. But we have a lot of things planned where we'll be talking about. So we'll see you guys next